Okay, let's
Like,
go.
she lost to Holly, complained and didn't give Holly any credit. She lost to Amanda, pouted out of there. And it wouldn't have been so bad if she didn't go on this whole campaign of do nothing. Or being just like, she was just role model to all these young girls. And then when she lost, she just turned her back on the entire community and shit-talked everybody and turned her back. And now she's like, she wants love. It's like, yo, this sport would have loved you. She would have always have gotten a pop. She probably would have had a job in the UFC. Like, there's so much that she could have still been doing had she just accepted those losses and gave credit to Holly and Amanda.
UFC President Dana White and Joe Rogan have just dropped a massive bombshell message aimed directly at former bantamweight queen Ronda Rousey, and all centers around the undefeated British sensation Dakota Ditcheva.
Beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful, you're a model. It has nothing to do with men beating each other up. There's nothing to do with brutishness. It has to do with high-level problem solving with dire physical consequences. But the early days were interesting because, like, you know, there was a lot of people disparaging women fighting, including Dana White.
When are we going to see women in the UFC, then?
Never.
Never?
Yeah, some people get disturbed watching women get bloodied up. That's a big one for some people. It feels different. Obviously, I'm a big fan of women. But when I watch a big cut on a woman, it feels different. It's so hard for people to not get emotional when they get hit. It's a very bad way to react in a fight, to fight with emotions, because you expose yourself. You leave yourself open for counters. You miss your rhythm. You're not as deceptive. You're too obvious in your pattern. And so many times you get hit a lot more. Yeah, it's a big problem with fighters. The smart thing to do is to fight with correct technique and with a correct strategy, meaning you have an understanding of how to execute best. It's not just wait in and let bombs fly. You have to be very precise in your tactics.
After Rousey's controversial comments disrespecting the UFC and legends like Joe Rogan and Ariel Helwani, the MMA world is firing back with a clear warning. Dakota Ditcheva is ready to humble Rowdy Ronda if she ever steps back into the cage. And trust me, this drama is absolutely explosive.
I mean, I got nothing but love and respect for that lady. What she did was so impressive. She was the first legitimate female superstar. She made the UFC female division possible. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for her, Dana was very open about never having female UFC fighters. It took someone that was that dynamic, that was that special, to open his eyes and go, you know what? I think this lady's a star. And to be the type, like, when she said, like, I wasn't an expert, everyone's entitled to their opinion, you know, but you got to understand why she thinks like that. Because she has a champion mentality. You never fought, you ain't shit. You know, it's real simple.
So the football guys do that. You didn't play? You're like, yeah, but I studied the sport.
Doesn't matter, you ain't shit. I get it. It's totally fine. You can't judge her, like, compare her to, like, Zhang Weili. Because, like, Zhang Weili, who was the 115-pound champion, she had a chance to watch all these other people, learn what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, what's effective, what's not effective. What Ronda had is world-class judo, world-class, bronze medalist in the Olympics. One of the best arm bars, period, in the sport, in the history of the sport. Her fucking arm bar, the technique was flawless. There's a fight with her and Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano launches at her, just fucking... Kat Zingano was an animal. Charges at her. Ronda catches her in an arm bar in like 13 seconds. I don't remember the exact time. It was nuts, but it was perfect. Perfect technique. You know, you couldn't fuck with that. But then she fought Holly Holm. And when she fought Holly Holm, she was dealing with an elite boxer, an elite kickboxer, and a very physically strong woman who had an awesome game plan and who had a chance to study Ronda. And maybe more importantly, came from a great camp. And that camp, Jackson Winklejohn camp, one of the best camps in the world. John Jones came out of that camp. Holly, Donald Cerrone originally came out of that camp. A lot of great fighters came out of there. So they were really good at game planning. So they knew how Ronda likes to clinch. They knew how Ronda likes to set up her takedowns. And they knew, you know, what to avoid. And then on top of that, Holly's just an elite striker. So every time Ronda tried to close the distance, the striking that she was very effective with against guys like Betch Correa, these fighters that were a lower tier, it's not going to be as effective with someone like Holly. And Holly started catching her on the feet and had her rock, and then landed that famous high kick and put her out.
Without Dana, its soul is gone, and
Dana is the heart. Dana is such an. I hope you and Dana are cool.
Oh, I love him so much. But yeah, when Dana's done, I think the dominant MMA organization, that title will be. Yeah, because I think Dana is it. Without him, it's just like 3 letters.
But it didn't stop there. Rousey also made controversial remarks about the UFC itself, claiming that without Dana White, the promotion is nothing more than 3 letters with no soul. And while she praised White, her comments came off as dismissive of the entire organization and everyone who helped build it.
Ronda Rousey was doing an interview with Bert Kreischer, and Ronda said about Joe Rogan, she said, he's not an expert, he's a fan with an audience. That's great. That's great. Ronda went heel. Ronda turned heel on Rogan to Kreischer, who is Rogan's friend. Great. We're going to make some entertainment. My takeaway, though, as I said and I watched that, is that it wasn't the performance. It wasn't a character in front of a camera that decided to go heel. I came away, possibly being a mark, but believing that it was a real moment, that somebody had their feelings hurt and was now lashing out. And that's always been a piece to the Ronda story that has interested me, captivated me, bothered me.
UFC analyst Chael Sonnen also called out Rousey's inflated sense of her own stardom, pointing out that she never held merchandise records, PPV records, or Livegate records, and claiming the whole Ronda the superstar narrative is nothing more than a myth. His comments, along with others in the MMA community, have rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and now the backlash is coming hard and fast.
Shows,
What is the hype to, like, oh, could she
interviews.
beat Cain Velasquez? Could she? And it's like, she deserves better than to go out the way, her last fight.
Well, she deserves exactly what she got. I think she really cemented her legacy as one of the greatest women's MMA champions ever and a pioneer. But I also think that women's MMA has evolved so fast that within the brief time that she was running shit, the sport passed her by.
Joe Rogan, being the class act he is, responded with grace but didn't hold back from telling the truth. On his podcast, Rogan said he never had a bad thing to say about Ronda and still doesn't, but he made it clear that the game eventually caught up to her. He pointed to her devastating knockout losses to Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes, fights that ended her dominance and exposed the striking vulnerabilities that had been hidden during her early run.
Put it in the corner and moved on to something else. But when people did that to her, it was supposed to be some kind of like a grave insult. It wasn't an insult at all. She doesn't have to go heel on Rogan if she wants to for performance reasons. It's very entertaining. The part that she got wrong is the idea that everybody hates her. They don't hate her. They never loved her to start with.
Rogan praised Rousey's champion mentality, calling her an animal, and even saying that if she were a man, she'd be Genghis Khan. But he also acknowledged reality. Rousey had her moment, and once elite strikers entered the division, her one-dimensional grappling style simply wasn't enough anymore.
A misinformed, ill-advised take.
MMA fans and media are the most what have you done for us lately crowd of any sport. Like, you look at WWE and they have such a reverence for their legends. And at MMA, it's like, the second that you're not on top, you're not shit and you never were shit.
She's not talking about UFC fans or MMA fans. She's talking about the organization. But she can't say it for whatever reason, so she'll blame it on the fans. The fans did nothing to you, Ronda Rousey, other than idolize you, other than adore you, other than treat you like a mega superstar that you deserve to be treated like, she was the face of the UFC, and she lost. And I remember the narrative after the fight. It wasn't she ain't shit, she never was shit. The narrative was, we should have seen this coming. Holly Holm was a Hall of Fame boxer. We probably should have given her a lot more respect. And then the next time we see her, she's getting off her plane, covering her face because she felt embarrassed, because she was such a gamer, such a competitive person that it crushed her. And that's okay. But guess what? UFC fans, whether she wants to believe it or not, and I didn't live it, but I can say this with the utmost certainty. They wanted to love her. She did not allow that. When she returned, she didn't do a single interview. She didn't attend media day. When we were sitting there waiting for the morning weigh-ins, the official weigh-ins, she snuck in, snuck out, and looked at all of us with disgust. She blamed all of us for it. The media, fans, just because she lost. Some of the greatest MMA fighters of all time have, and most beloved and popular fighters of all time, have double-digit losses on their resumes. Conor lost to Nate Diaz. People liked him more after the loss. The way he stood there and met with the media and took his lumps and came back stronger. She could not be more wrong about this. And she continues to go on this media tour talking shit about the MMA fans and the MMA community, when in reality, her issue is with the way the UFC treats its legends, the way the UFC treats their own, comparing that to WWE, which is a very valid point, by the way. But you're comparing two different things, the wrong things. It's organization to organization, not fan base to fan base. You couldn't be more wrong.
Ariel Helwani and other MMA journalists have also weighed in, with many expressing disappointment in Rousey's recent attitude. The consensus is clear. If you're going to talk big and disrespect the people who helped build your legacy, you better be ready to back it up.
And her opponent fighting out of the red corner. She's a Muay Thai specialist. That's 5 feet 8 inches tall. She weighed in officially at 126 pounds and holds a professional record of 5 victories and no defeats. Fighting out of Manchester, England, Dakota Ditcheva.
Now here's where things get really interesting. Dakota Ditcheva, the undefeated British Muay Thai specialist and rising MMA star, has stepped forward as the perfect answer to Rousey's trash talk. At just 26 years old, Ditcheva is tearing through a competition with devastating striking power that would give prime Ronda Rousey absolute nightmares.
Beforehand, I slipped down the stairs, going to the car to get my scale, knocked myself out on the stairs, and tore my knee out, having the wrong mouth guard. It was like one of those things where everything went wrong beforehand. I was like so stressed out. My weight wouldn't come off. I had to like sweat out like 10, 15 pounds beforehand.
Wei Li with that right hand.
After having done it, it was very successful. In every way you measure success, Fight Island was successful. So, the people who were laughing and all the naysayers.
Dana White has heaped massive praise on Jen Y as rumors swirl about Dakota Ditcheva, calling Jen Y one of the greatest of all time and the best female fighter in the sport right now. Y has sparked a burning question on everyone's mind. Could Jen Y be the ultimate test for PFL's undefeated phenom, the dangerous Dakota Ditcheva?